Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Another day in paradise, evidently. So, did everybody have a good breakfast this morning? It's pretty good. Eggs Benedict's not too shabby for breakfast. That's good. I'm going to get used to that every day. Again, thank you for being here. For those of you who might not have heard me last night, I'm Larry Kaufman, President and CEO of Yankee Alliance. And we have a full agenda today. I hope you have as much fun today as you had yesterday. I think it's been productive. Are you all finding it a productive visit so far? Yeah, cool. Great, thank you. Well, let's get at it, because we're going to fit 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag, but we're good at talking like Yankees, because we are Yankee Alliance, so let's go. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce our first speaker today, Mr. Steve Grubbs. Steve is the president and CEO of Covenant Health, and in that position, he is responsible for developing and implementing corporate strategies across the enterprise. He's also responsible for system integration and operational performance. Integration, that's a key word we talk about within Yankee Alliance. You'll find that Steve is exceptionally qualified for the role he is in, leading the Yankee Alliance Board of Managers as its chair. Prior to Covenant Health, Steve was with the Medical Center of Sacred Heart in Panama City, Florida, which fortunately wasn't struck by the most recent collection of hurricanes, as CEO there. Steve also was a CEO of Paris Regional Medical Center in Paris, Texas, and the CEO of Regional Hospital of Jackson, Tennessee, as part of CHS Community Health System. Steve spent 14 years as CEO and CFO with CHS in different facilities in Pennsylvania and Tennessee. Steve is a Wildcat, graduated from the University of Kentucky, go Wildcats. He got his MBA from Bethel University. And as I said earlier, he is the chair of the Yankee Alliance Board of Managers. He has qualifications that make him exceptionally good at that role, because he is, and I'm not just saying this because he's one of my bosses, but he is an excellent listener. He is insightful. And those are a couple really strong qualities for someone who is trying to help a group of disparate organizations, the partners of Yankee Alliance, come together and create alignment and convergence among our strategies and our goals. So will you help me join in welcoming Steve to the stage? Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. It is an honor to be with you this morning. So good to see all of you on this beautiful day here in Newport, Rhode Island. I'm not sure why I don't spend more time here on the weekends vacationing, but obviously I'll consider that in the future. Larry mentioned that we're Yankee Alliance, and his expectations is that we will move along pretty quickly this morning, but he also mentioned I'm from Kentucky. So we're going to slow it down just a little bit. Kristen, before I came up, she reminded me that there's a timer right here on the floor. You can't see it. And it's counting down from 15. We're already at 14:20. But Larry, she also said, if you go over, don't worry about it. So Larry's up next. I'm going to take a little bit of, no, I'm not. I'm going to try to move through pretty quickly. Forgive me, but I want to start this morning on a little bit of a somber note. I was reminded last night in talking to our friends from Baxter of the tragedy of the hurricane, and they shared with us, with the group that was talking, that one of their workers is still missing. And then I'm also reminded that 1 year ago this week, there was an unthinkable tragedy in the city of Lewiston and Auburn, Maine. Many of you know we have a facility in Lewiston, Maine, but we also have some folks here from Central Maine Medical Center who were there on the front lines during that tragedy. So again, a somber note, but I think it's appropriate for us just to remember these folks. There are going to be a lot of activities in the Lewiston-Auburn area this week in honor of remembrance of the event, remembering those who lost their lives, friends, family, co-workers, and obviously remembering those that responded so very well. If you're from the Lewiston-Auburn area, can I get you to raise your hand or even stand up? Yeah, there we go. So you're it, and so know that this group sends our thoughts, our love, our prayers to you and your teams back home. For us, Larry mentioned, we're here today all about bringing these groups together, collaboration. Let's take time this week. Send an email, send a note, send a text to anyone that you may know that works in those communities in support of the remembrance of the event. I know that will be well received and much appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to dive in. I've got 12 minutes left, so this is going to be like speed dating. All right, I have a pointer here. Our mission, drive value to members. You see the 3 checks there, cost reduction, innovation, collaboration. I think really important is catch that phrase, aggregation of data, aggregation of data. One of the things I appreciate most about being a part of Yankee Alliance, being a member and a partner with Premier is their ability to aggregate data. So helpful. I'll talk more about that later. Our board of managers, I think we have one of the board members in the room with me today, but you can see who those managers are. Myself, Darlene Rodowitz from the Berkshire Health System, the one who is here, David McCready from South Coast. David, if you'll wave at us. There he is. Thank you, David, for being here. I'm not sure how we let a CFO into the group, but we did. So we have Andrew DeVoe from Tufts, and then our newest board member, Amy Brewer from Sturdy Health. So graphically, you can see what makes up supply chain solutions for Yankee Alliance. You can see the 9 member owners. That number has obviously reduced over time. A lot of acquisitions, mergers, and such have stripped away our memberships, but I will say we're 9 strong, and proud of that. Again, our members for the supply chain solutions and the LLC. And then I would be remiss if I didn't speak about our great partnership with Premier. And Kevin's here today. He's going to be speaking later in a panel discussion. But it truly is and has been a great partnership that we've had with Premier over the years. I was reminded when I looked at the cover on our material today, this is our 36th annual gathering. Pretty phenomenal, 36 years, a long legacy there, a long partnership with Premier, and so appreciated. What does Premier bring? National purchasing power. Obviously, we all benefit from that. Our focus now and forward, we're going to be focused on our members. We're going to be focused on bringing value to our membership and, working together so that we are sharing best practices and creating those operational efficiencies that we're all looking for. Again, you can see our focus as we move forward. What do we need? Continued commitment. Not so much an issue with this group, but we're going to ask for more because we think the times warrant that. And certainly we have demonstrated that when we work together, when we share our knowledge, when we share our resources, we do great things, and we want to continue that. So we're going to talk and continue to talk about collaboration and engagement and how important that is to this very special group that we're a part of called the Yankee Alliance. Whether you're a member or a partner, a supplier, you're all important. And certainly we want to make sure that your voice is heard and that we're bringing value to you. So the future. I love Jody White, former chair of this board. He had a quote, and his quote at one of these meetings a few years ago was that there's going to be a continued shift in the reimbursement model. Would you agree? The future hospitals and providers will be paid to keep our communities healthy. And we're seeing that as it evolves over time. And I think that was very insightful, obviously something that we're going to continue to experience in the weeks, months, and years to come. Our care settings are going to continue to shift from bricks and mortar of our buildings to the home setting. I know within Covenant we're seeing this, and I'm sure many of the providers and facilities represented are seeing this as well. So how is that happening? Virtual care, remote patient monitoring, and home care. At Covenant, we are trying to enter the remote patient monitoring phase of expansion. And it's really interesting what this technology can do and will do. As a matter of fact, part of the technology is that of a wristwatch. And this wristwatch is a smartwatch. It's like your Apple Watch. But, you know, it tells you at any given time, what's your blood pressure? What's your pulse rate? And, you know, if you wear it while you sleep, how did you sleep the night before? That sort of thing. So this is data that's now being tracked and captured in a call center. And so people are watching your health and your progress. And I think that's where we're going as an industry. And we'll see more and more of that as time passes. Digital access to care. I think if we're all, you know, being honest about our strategy, patient access and opening up lines and avenues for access to care is extremely important. The digital world really has helped us open that up even greater. So that's going to be a continued focus within our industry, is finding new, innovative, and creative ways to open up access to care through things like e-visits, telehealth, and online scheduling. Artificial intelligence. Last night's session, there was a question that talked, and the panel spoke quite a bit about AI and how that was impacting even their work today. That's going to continue at a very rapid pace as this technology continues to improve and develop. One takeaway that I received a couple of weeks ago, I attended a seminar, if you will, that was hosted by Premier. And Kevin, you were there. And at that seminar, one of the speakers really impressed upon the group that if you do not have an AI governance organization within your facility institution, consider it. I thought that was very insightful. Because as we know, as this new technology develops, there will be eventually guardrails around it. So why not get out in front of that? Form those AI task force. Begin talking about what is your strategy? How do you vet the technology? And who has to approve it within your organization? So key takeaway for me, sharing that with you. Clinical variations in care. We've been talking about this within our industry for years. I know Premier has an excellent platform through their data warehouse to help facilities do just that, to monitor and to make an impact on your clinical variations of care. At Covenant, I think we've been a little lacking in embracing this technology over time, but I will tell you that 2025 is our year, and we have teams that are focused on that this year, looking at, you know, different discharge diagnosis, looking at different points of care and understanding why is it costing so much for this instance versus this instance, and seeing if we can't standardize that. So I think that is certainly something that the whole industry will be focused on as we move forward. Finally, I will mention that our future, we have data. Facilities have data. Suppliers have data. At times we share that data. But keep in mind that data has value. It has great value. And we're seeing that if you're connected to a large national electronic medical record system, you realize that they're using this data in a very robust way. But we have other points of data that we need to consider as well. So think about that and know that your data has value. Your data has great value to the Yankee Alliance, to our partnership with Premier. We're going to ask you in the future, if you're not already, to consider joining us and sharing that data Certainly we'll do it in the right way. We'll protect it. We'll make sure that, privacy is first and foremost. But we need the data. And I think as a collaborative, if we can harvest this data, if we can take this data, study it, analyze it, we can learn so much, and it will help guide and direct us in the future, creating additional opportunities for improving care and creating efficiency. I've got 2 minutes and 54 seconds left, so I want to take a moment and share with you some of the key partnerships that I feel that we have at Covenant Health. You have your own list, but this is our list, and certainly it's not all-inclusive, but it does give you an example of some of the key partners that we've turned to over the past several years to help us in our journey. First and foremost, our association with Yankee Alliance. That is a key strategic partnership we feel at Covenant Health. And then, in a similar way, Premier. Premier is the backbone. And so we have a great relationship, I feel, Kevin, with Premier, and we want to continue that. Premier was actually a key part in introducing us to a company at Covenant by the name of Long 80. And I have a few of the Covenant staff here in the very front. I think they will be the first to tell you that has been a big win for our organization. A few years ago, we decided that we did not know what we did not know around IT and IT technology. So we sought a partnership, some help for that. Premier was able to connect us with a company called Long 80. We went through that very painful journey of transitioning to outsourcing our IT platform, but I stand here today to tell you absolutely the right decision. And I think Carrie Ann, you and Eric would echo that. It has been a win for us. If you've not considered that, again, consider what you don't know and what value this can bring to your organization, because it is substantial. And I would say that applies whether you're a healthcare facility or a supplier. I think that their expertise would cross over to both industries. Another key relationship we have is our electronic health record. We use Epic. Many of you do. And then finally, for revenue cycle, we partner with a company called Ensemble Health. A few years ago, we decided that revenue cycle was just too complex, and the talent pool was too small, and we weren't able to do it effectively. So we went down the path of outsourcing our entire revenue cycle operations, front to end, to Ensemble, a decision, again, that was a very good one for us. You can see, I noted there that because of that relationship and because of the improvements we've seen, our system has won for the past 3 years the HFMA MAP Award. And I'm told that it's really significant to win that award once, but to win it 3 consecutive years is almost unthinkable. So we're very proud of that relationship. It continues to bring value and add value to our organization. Is it perfect? No. Is it 95, 98% better than what we were doing? I would say yes. So again, sharing with my fellow members, these are things that have been successful for Covenant. Hope that's useful for you. We're getting close to the end. Time is out, so Larry, I'm going to take a little bit of your time. I love this quote. Obviously, I had to bring in a quote from the head basketball coach at the University of Kentucky. But he says, the magic you're looking for is the work that you're avoiding. You know, a little bit of a word soup there, right? But when you think about it, what is that magic? For me, the magic is breaking down silos and really coming together to address opportunities and challenges that we have. We've started that journey. We've matured in that journey. I think we can take it now to the next level through improved and increased collaboration. And that is it. Thank you for your time this morning. So, thank you. Thank you for being here. I speak on behalf of the board of Yankee Alliance. If we can assist you in any way, if you have any thoughts or ideas you want to convey to us, we're happy to hear those. And with that, Larry, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, that was great. Thanks again, Steve. We really appreciate those insightful comments. So let's level set a little bit as the team makes its way up here. Yankee Alliance is an organization composed by and for its members. This year we are celebrating 40 years. 1984, a group of facilities got together and they thought, you know, together we're better. If we can share information, create speed to knowledge, create speed to value, there might be some good opportunities ahead for us. And to this day, that continues to be our very specific focus. So all the people you see on this dais today are the leadership team of Yankee Alliance, and their specific goal each and every day is to make sure they are meeting the needs of our membership. So we listen carefully. We're going to talk a little bit about how we get up close and personal with our members, and some of the things that we are focusing on, have been focusing on through fiscal year 24, will be focusing on in 25. But all of that comes together for the sole purpose of making sure we are being sensitive to the needs of our members, understanding where those needs are intersecting, and then seeing where we can create alignment and create value among our membership. Speaking of value, in fiscal year 24, which we are on a October to September fiscal year, we just concluded the year. Thanks to the folks on this stage, our member services folks, and each and every one of the teams of our members, both our member partners as well as our collaborative members, our continuum of care members. Our savings this year surpassed our budgeted savings of $40 million. We achieved $42.2 million in savings for our membership. That is not chump change. Thank you. Real excited about that. So the ways that we drive value has to have form and function. We are going to talk about, and you're going to hear a lot of the good work that's taking place in all these different areas where we intersect with our membership. We have steering committees, we have analytics teams, advisory teams. I'm going to introduce you to them as we go along. This is, through these teams, is how we connect our surface area to the surface area of our members, so we get up close and personal. It's the way we keep our ear to the rail and make sure we know what's going on in the facilities. Our value analysis teams in clinical services, Bluepoint, an incredibly powerful tool that we use to show our membership where they exist relative to the best demonstrated practice in clinical functions, which also impacts utilization. Because we all know that cost is a function of price times utilization equals total cost. And just like in the pharmacy, our goal is to make sure that we are providing the right amount of utilization when patient care is being given, whether it's an OR procedure, a clinical area procedure, in a nursing unit. The right amount of supply utilization is no different than making sure an individual patient is getting the right amount of a pharmaceutical, the right amount of a drug, not too little, not too much, but the right drug, the right time, the right place, the right route. We're expanding our focus into purchase services, as you heard a little bit about last night. 20% of all purchasing cost falls into purchase services area, and as we also heard, most organizations don't have a robust system and structure around purchase services, so we are very pleased to make sure we're putting a lot of focus and attention in helping create some organizational structure around those functions for our members. And the last thing, you can read the remainder up there. One of the things that's very important as we go through each and every day, the experiences that our members face, it's essential that we are able to communicate those experiences to one another, to cross-pollinate with ideas, to make sure we learn from the challenges that each one of us is facing. And we're doing a lot of learning every day. You all experience the same kind of learning opportunities as did we and our provider members through the pandemic. Again, we can reference the most recent challenges associated with IV solutions. We all have to learn from those challenges that we have faced so that we Well, we all know the phrase, fool me once, it's your fault, fool me twice, it's my fault. So we're trying to learn from those challenges that we face. Member focus, member engagement, that's our secret sauce that's not so secret. By being able to connect with one another and create alignment out of our members, getting common goals approached and solutions in those goals in the same way through our collective alignment, organic growth. That's something I think each one of our vendor partners would be considered very important. Our goal is to make sure that when we enter into a contract with any vendor partner, that you can be assured that you're going to get a good deal of volume from our membership. And we are working every day to make sure that our partners are aware of, number one, what those opportunities are, and then number two, acting upon those contractual opportunities to not only decrease cost, improve quality, but also to drive value and revenue through Yankee Alliance paper. So let's do a little bit of an introduction, shall we? If you can read all of these, you're a speed reader, but because the font's going to get smaller and smaller as we go through this. Steve already introduced our board of managers. On the right is a whole collection of advisory teams and committees that we have, and I'm going to run through those very quickly right now. But the key, as you see all of these, the key is these are the folks that point the business end of Yankee Alliance in the direction that it needs to be pointed. They are the ones that give these members of the team and myself what our priorities are. They define our marching orders, and that's what we're focused on each and every day. The Supply Chain Steering Committee. You can see we have members of that committee in the room here today. And obviously their purpose is to make sure they understand each other and where there's opportunity for them to work together with Yankee Alliance. Our Chief Financial Officer Steering Committee, incredibly important. These are leaders of each of the organizations. They're the ones helping us understand what their financial pressures are and where we need to be spending our attention, and those opportunities that they're interested in exploring. Our Chief Human Resources Officer Steering Committee, staffing, 100%, always a problem, always an issue, but they are a great group of people who are always expressing what solutions they would like to see Yankee develop for them, letting us know what their challenges are, and exploring what opportunities exist within Yankee to create solutions. Nursing Leadership Advisory Committee. As you go through this list and you look at the organizations that are represented, there's Yankee members, partners, there's also collaborative members from across the Eastern Seaboard, all the way down to Miami, Florida. Cardiovascular Advisory Committee. The font's going to get smaller as we go. Surgical Services Advisory Committee, General Nursing Advisory Committee. You have 20/20 vision if you can read all of that. And the Pharmacy Advisory Committee as well. So all of those committees are working together to help us explore and vet different opportunities for our organization. You have heard a little bit about this already. We spend a lot of time being an extension of our partners' bench by working with our members to implement the premier committed programs, whether it was Ascend Drive or whether it was Surpass. We explored over the course of the last year central warehousing. We didn't get it. We were not able to execute on that quite yet, but we are still working on it. I will tell you, the most recent activity with the Helene created a great deal of motivation and interest infused into this opportunity for Yankee Alliance. We can only imagine how our lives might be different if we had a significant stock. What if we had 1 million units of IV solutions sitting in a warehouse waiting to be distributed to Yankee Alliance partners? Those kinds of what ifs are the things that we're seeking to explore. Central Sterile We looked at that very closely over the course of the fiscal year, and we determined it was not something that was appropriately a good solution for Yankee partners. Cost-benefit analysis showed it wasn't going to work. What had a lot to do with that was just the cost of money at the time and the inability to justify that additional expense. But one of the things that is so important about Yankee is we don't just examine things that we end up implementing. We look at a lot of things, and if they don't have value for our Yankee partners, we seek to kill them quick and move on. But we're constantly scanning the horizon, trying to identify what opportunities are out there for our membership. Physician preference items, we will continue to work in this space where we're seeing where we can combine and aggregate this collection of purchasing to make sure that we are driving value where we can. We believe there's a huge amount of opportunity, whether it's in trauma, orthopedics, hips and knees, CRM, wherever that might be, and that will be a normal function for us going forward. Capital equipment purchases, we are very pleased, and Dwayne's going to speak a little to this, we're very pleased to have a line of sight to the capital purchases of our members. They share with us what they expect to be purchasing over the course of the year. We do that Venn diagram, and we figure out where there is an opportunity through aggregating purchases. It's always possible to get a better price point when you're buying a multiple of something than when you're just individually buying something. Yet again, another example about how being a part of Yankee Alliance drives value to our membership. And purchase services, again, we will be expanding our position in that space to cover that broad gamut of expenditures that our members make every single year. Going forward in 2025, we are going to be looking at these areas: clinical reference lab, linen services, and clinical engineering. So we're going to be exploring to see where on the continuum there's an opportunity for Yankee Alliance. On one end of the continuum, it's an opportunity to share information, share data, share best demonstrated practices, price, costs, and through that type of information being available to all of our members, the data that Steve was talking about, people can know where they stand on a bell curve and see where they have an opportunity to improve or to change. As we move down that continuum, we ask the question, is there an opportunity to contract together? So if we have timing of contracts that are in a position where we can put a few of them together, then we're going to use that as our play as an opportunity. And then finally, at the other end of that continuum, which is the most aggressive, we're going to ask ourselves the question, is there an opportunity to actually create an operating model within Yankee Alliance partners in order to produce these services, in order to increase the number of the volume moving through whatever model we create, opportunity to decrease unnecessary variation, increase reliability and dependability, drive out unnecessary variation. So those are the types of things that we're going to be looking at for each of these three throughout the course of 2025. That's a little bit of the background. We're going to do a deep dive in the details of many of these things through each one of the members of the leadership team behind me. So if I may, let me introduce you to Amy Campbell, our Chief Operating Officer.
Good morning, everyone. I look forward to meeting you if we haven't had an opportunity to meet yet. I wanted to take my time this morning to talk to you about a recent Blue Point customer success. They're a nonprofit healthcare system with 5 hospitals. They saved almost $1 million on disposable patient transfer devices. Blue Point's benchmarking showed them they had an opportunity in the category. Blue Point's departmental level analysis showed the one department that had unusually high spend in this area. Based on Blue Point's recommendations, they did retraining on bed setup. They evaluated adherence to their safe lift policy. They evaluated areas where a reusable option could be utilized. and the insured devices traveled with the patients, all resulting in $925,838 worth of savings. Blue Point's sole mission is to lower health systems supply costs while increasing the use of clinical best practices. And this is a really great example of that work in action, and I wanted to share that with all of you. And I see Anne-Marie Orlando sitting here in the front row. She'd love to talk to you. I've never met a person more passionate about healthcare, so I encourage you to seek her out in the conference.
Well, let me introduce myself for those of you that might not have met me. My name is Melanie Kowicki, which you can see. I'm the Chief Financial Officer here at Yankee. And I wanted just to start off by thanking you all for being here today, joining us in Rhode Island for this 36th annual conference. You know, this is a gathering I feel truly symbolizes our shared commitment and community. As you look around the room, you can see all the familiar faces. And I can't believe another year has passed already. When you think about it, we have been gathering like this all as a result of a handful of regional hospitals coming together 40 years ago, which was already mentioned. You know, coming together with that shared concept of working together to generate savings, all through cost reduction. And that was done through aggregating data, aggregating purchasing, aggregating ideas, sharing experiences, knowing then, which still holds true today, that working together, we will ultimately drive more value than doing it alone. Now, that said, I also wanted to highlight the essential role that all of you play in Yankee, which again was formed by you, for you. Your contributions are vital for our collective success. And what I do ask of all the members in the room is if you encounter any challenges, issues, obstacles, whatever you want to call it, when it's coming to pricing, contracting, services, please reach out to us. We are here to assist. We consider ourselves an extension of your teams. By sharing your concerns, we can then reach into the Alliance, collaborate, find solutions, because chances are if you're experiencing these issues, then someone else in the Alliance is probably facing the same, if not similar. And from a financial standpoint, you know, if we can continue to come together and unite instead of facing these things in isolation, we will undeniably generate the most value, and that can come from contracting strategies or operational strategies. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with today is the fact that today as an alliance, we are pushing out about 3.5 times returned value to our member owners. So this return value, based on the generated gross administrative fees, based on your utilization of our contract portfolios, but this 3.5 times return value. I feel like this is something we should all be proud of. It clearly indicates the financial benefits of us we are achieving together. So, and it's just the beginning of what we can do. So. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Dwayne Bragg, our VP for contract.
Thank you, Larry. So Larry touched a lot of the initiatives I'll be working on or talking about this morning. But basically, we're very excited to be working on these initiatives for this year, and I want to echo what Larry said. Every single one of our initiatives are going to require member engagement and member collaboration. So we really learned a lot this year on physician preference items. The goal this year is to expand that. We've been able to work with a member beta group that's helping guide the strategy for how we're going to approach PPI. And right now, we're identifying other categories to pursue to expand this program in this year. So we're very excited about that. Next issue is purchase services. Purchase services is going to be a big focus area this year for us. And what we've done is we work very closely with our members to really understand what they need in a purchase services partner to help us establish a governance model that's going to drive success in this program. So with the member input, we've been able to I think, lay the groundwork for a big program this year that's going to really grow with the members and drive a lot of savings. And then next we have, I want to talk about warehousing. Actually, no, I want to talk about, warehousing next. So one of the big things we learned is obviously we've been working on central warehouse for a couple of years now. And the recent events have done, has been more than highlight just the need for a warehouse, but the need for our member engagement to make that warehouse a reality. So we really need the member input, and we're going to be establishing a meeting after this conference to sit down and talk about where we go with that warehouse and what we want to put in the warehouse and how we're going to create that warehouse. So that's a big thing we're focused on as well. The other thing I want to talk about is capital equipment. Capital equipment is obviously an area that's very ripe for collaboration. We have a lot of purchasing power across the Alliance, but a lot of members are spending a lot of money buying things independently and a lot of the same items. So we want to take the advantage of that and use the leverage of the Alliance to drive more savings to the membership. And the last thing I want to highlight is sustainability. So sustainability is here to stay. It's going to continue to grow. And we have a small group of our members that are really leading the way in sustainability. And we're using that group of members to help us to learn how to prepare the rest of our membership to be ready to address one of the biggest issues that are going to be facing healthcare in quite some time. And with that, I want to put a plug in for the sustainability track. Our focus on sustainability started last year at this conference, and it's only grown throughout this year. And it's grown to the point now where we added a sustainability track, and I want to encourage you all to attend the sustainability track on Thursday to learn more about the impact of sustainability on healthcare. And with that, I'll turn it over to the next person.
Thank you, Dwayne. Carrie Cummings is our VP for Clinical Services.
Good morning, everyone. Dwayne did say he's going to work on getting me a step stool, so this won't be such a mess. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 minutes. Good morning and welcome. As many of you are either aware or are learning today, we have been working collaboratively as an alliance to address categories in physician preference and to pull groups together to focus on IV therapy and linen utilization. But what I'm most excited about is what I've been hearing here. So I've been hearing from folks here that they're very excited and interested in working together, coming together to learn and understand the challenges and needs on both sides, so members and suppliers, to work together as partners to create solutions. So I'm very excited to work with all of you and in those partnerships, and I welcome you and enjoy your conference.
Thank you, Carrie. Mike Rubel, our CTO.
Thank you, Larry. Sorry, next slide. We have been excited in the analytics and development departments at Yankee Alliance to be working with you, the membership, to gather feedback on our applications so that we can use that feedback to design new user experiences and user interface for both of our applications, Bluepoint and SupplyView. In the future, these enhancements to the functionality across all of these platforms is really to provide insight into the data needed to make business decisions and access all the opportunities that Premier and Bluepoint and Yankee Alliance have to offer. In the future, we're going to be aggregating all of these applications together so that there's one space to go for all of the membership suppliers to gather the information you need to most effectively work with Yankee Alliance.
Thank you, Nick. And Bob Ritchie, our VP for Pharmacy Services.
Morning, everyone. Bob Ritchie, VP of Pharmacy Services. Couple of things. Happy Pharmacy Week. I know he said it last night. And I really wanted to acknowledge and thank the pharmacy folks for coming this week. I know how hard it can be to get away. Also wanted to say what a pleasure and a privilege it is to work with that group. Wanted to highlight a couple of examples of what we can do when we work together and commit. And my first example is, I think it's pretty timely. So it's working with John Powers and his group at Moderna. We committed to 20,000 doses of the COVID vaccine for a savings of about $320,000. And then next slide. And so my next slide is something that I'm pretty proud of the group for committing to, and it's a new amendment with McKesson. So it's close to a $10 million savings over the next 3+ years. So really grateful to McKesson and the group for coming together and making this happen. So wanted to thank a couple of folks that were instrumental in kind of helping me kind of push this forward. So Eric Berger from Covenant, John Gugliotta, Alex Wilcocky, and Joan Calamari from Tufts, Matt Scherer, Ken McIsaac, and Ruben Feliciano from McKesson, Paul Plord and Wayne Russell from Premier, and Shanti Beglane and Megan Langley from my group. So thanks, everyone.
Matt Murphy is our VP for Member Services.
Good morning, folks. So you've heard a lot of common goals here today, and it's really been focused around engagement, collaboration, alignment, really things that we can do to work together. You heard Dwayne talk about strategic contracting, purchase services, PPI, and really something really that we're going to be focused on is a central warehouse with everything that's been happening. You heard Kerry talk about collaboration amongst everybody in this room, which I think is really fantastic. And you heard Bob just talk about all the success we had with the wholesaler agreement as we've been able to commit. And we've actually done multiple iterations of that to save multi-million dollars over a number of years. We've had great success with the committed programs over the last couple of years. The members have documented over $10 million in savings. All of these initiatives have had their own challenges, but really the main focus and the main key for these initiatives is if we can come together, we can have great success. And I know you've heard that throughout this entire presentation. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see these are the new initiatives that Larry mentioned for FY25. They'll have the same challenges that I just mentioned for the ones that we've had success in. And it's going to have the same approach. We're going to have to come together, and we're really going to have to focus on being an alliance and really being committed and working together and being better for the group. The more value we can bring to our new members by really being successful in these opportunities, we'll be able to differentiate Yankee Alliance from our competitors. And by doing that, we'll be able to grow. And obviously, if we can grow, that gives us the ability to do things not only for new members, but for our existing members as well. It's going to be able to give us the scale that we need and being able to invest in new opportunities like the ones we just mentioned for FY25. Thank you.
And Sarah Hayes, our VP for Human Resources.
Uh-oh, HR is in the room. I got the invite this year. Welcome everyone. I was going to talk about our HR strategic initiatives this year. As you can see, talent management and employee engagement are high on my list. They're two sides of the same coin. But I'm going to go rogue here this morning. Don't worry, Amy. I'm not going to do anything offensive. But I know, as evidenced by last night, and as you'll see on the agenda for today, there's a lot of challenges facing us as healthcare professionals. Obviously, the folks working on the front lines are really getting the brunt of it. So in order to have an engaged workforce, we need to follow the analogy of putting your own oxygen mask on first. And so I'm going to give you a little tool to take with you to share with your colleagues, your family, your friends, your neighbors as we go through the next several months and years trying to face these challenges. So if you'll indulge me for just a moment. Oh, I'm officially out of time, but give me 30 seconds, Larry. Go ahead and put both feet on the ground. I'm going to ask you all to sit up nice and straight. And then I'm going to ask you to exaggerate the shrug in your shoulders. As you exhale, just let your shoulders fall down. And just do that a few more times. Just loosen it up. We're going to do something this morning called box breathing. So it's going to be really quick. It's a tool to activate the parasympathetic nervous and sympathetic nervous system. So before you go into a big meeting, you're going to have a contentious conversation, maybe you're going into a surgery, any of these things can help with this box breathing. So if you want to close your eyes, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, just soften your gaze. Keep your shoulders nice and heavy, and I'll guide you through. We're going to do 4 rounds. You'll breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. So let all of the air out of your lungs, your belly, and we'll begin. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more round. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring a regular rhythm back into your breath. If you're driving in traffic, don't close your eyes, but you can use that. At any point, take this tool with you, bring it back to your staff, to your colleagues, like I said, to your friends and your neighbors. It's impossible to have an engaged, effective workforce if we can't take care of ourselves first. There are lots of really simple, easy ways to do this. I'm more than happy to chat. Come find me today. I'll be at the registration desk. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the beautiful weather.
I'm feeling pretty chill. How about you? I thought we were going to do downward dog next, so I'm all set. So clearly, there has been a thread that has run through everything you heard today. None of it happens unless there is engagement, unless people are involved, unless we're connected to our members, unless we are connected to you, our vendor partners. None of this happens. We appreciate your involvement, your engagement. It's that secret sauce, again, that keeps us driving value each and every year. And we, just like you, have that encore challenge each and every year. Our job is to bring more value this year than we did last, and more value next year than we did this year. Some of the results of that value are seen on the screen right now through the successes that our members have experienced by working together over the course of this past year. I would encourage you to stop by the poster sessions that we have and engage each of our members who are there taking their time to talk to you about what successes they have had. Again, it's a great opportunity to cross-pollinate, to create that central nervous system where we can learn from one another and not all make the same mistakes over and over again. With that concludes our presentation today. Thank you for your attentive listening, and we are here to serve. Thank you for being here.